Welcome to Washington Football Week with your host, one half of that dynamic duo, Sean Spencer, and South Carolina's finest, Will Craven.
Don't play us if you're undefeated.
Where we celebrate past success while looking to a bright future. There's a youth movement in Washington, and they're ready to take the reins, led by a fire force. It's a new day, a new dawn, no longer the laughing stock. It's time to take command.
Going on. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. And as you know, ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday. Happy Hump Day! And I'm with my guys. You see who I'm with? I got to go this way this time. I got to go this way. South Carolina's finest, Will Kramer. What up, Will?
Happy Tuesday, Sean.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it is my fault asking to go on a day early to throw off our rhythm of this since it's Washington Football Weekly on Wednesdays. But yeah. Good day. It's an exciting day. Got the 53, got a roster for the year. We're just that much closer to the beginning of the season.
Let them know, Will. Let's just be honest, man. You're getting your ice cream ready. You're getting your tissues ready because you know this Saturday we got to part ways. North Carolina, South Carolina. You know what it is.
I know. I left my stuff upstairs, but I'm not. You can wear all the gear you want. I'm not worried about what's going to happen on the field.
It's go time. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. But look. Whenever we got my guy on the show, it's always big. You know who it is. My guy, the shirtless wonder, Ab. What up, Ab?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. For real.
I'm glad to have you on this.
Love being here, guys.
Yeah, no, we're glad to get your insight here.
Absolutely.
What jersey you wearing?
What's up?
What jersey is
that?
Oh, this is a black Sean Taylor.
Ooh.
Joint. Nice.
That is.
Oh, I like that.
That's very nice.
Okay. Ooh. I can dig it. Look, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We are back. We're in the building. Obviously, the preseason games are over. I mean, for what it's worth, we won, and we went 3-0 in the preseason. I don't know how much that matters, but going to 2 games, because I ended up going to the Cincinnati game. It's electric. The fans are there. The fans are excited. People are all about it. Guys, what are you feeling now that we're at the doorstep of the season?
I mean, excitement. You talked about it. You were at the stadium feeling it. There's a buzz in the area about this season starting. And some of it has to do with it's just like new beginnings. One of the things I heard is they brought all the mascots of all the DC sports teams at the game on Saturday, and they had it a lot more kid friendly. And that's just not something that we ever would have done with Dan Snyder. He didn't care about these other organizations, yet this new ownership group is about one DC, and we're all in this together, and it's great. So, I mean, it's just the new beginnings, and that's what the new season starts with, and that just brings up all the hopes.
Absolutely. Ab, did you go to any preseason games? Have you
No. I only watched them at home, sir. And it was entertaining football. I haven't seen good football like that in a while, and I was optimistic. I really am optimistic about the new season.
Oh yeah, man. And I don't know, man. Hey, the new owners are here. Will, you mentioned it, talking about Dan Snyder and the things he didn't do. And on the other side, We got Josh Harris over here at the games, high-fiving the fans. You know, magic is in everybody's face, and really, it's exciting. It's just a new time. It's a new day right now, and I can't buy my excitement because I'm excited for this season, and different than last year. This is a genuine excitement, right?
Right. You should be more excited about this season. You got your guy under center.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But let's look at my track record, gentlemen. I've been with the both of you the last 2 years, and at this time, I hyped up two different gentlemen. One, Fitzmagic, who was tragic, and one, Carson Wentz, who couldn't get off the fence. So this is it for me. The third time's a charm.
You're bad luck, Sean.
Yeah, he has been.
Not rooting for anybody right now, right? But look, hey, speaking of my guy, Mr. Sam Howell, our head coach, Ron Rivera, unfortunately, he just comes outside of his mouth with some stuff that I'm just like, come on, Ron, just stop. Let's get into these recent comments that he made. Quote, I kept saying F. If I wouldn't have known this, I would have played him sooner. When you only have so much time to show, it's hard. I kept thinking, God. But after the game, everything told me this kid, give him the opportunity and see what he does with it. Ab, I'm going to come to you first. What when you hear these comments from our coach talking about our now starter about last year, what do you think, man?
I'm trying to tell you, like, I think Ron is like a front office man. Like, I'm so past him missing talent. Like, like it's so irritating to me, and it's kind of crazy that he's always like after the fact, like, oh yeah, like this is something like I'm sorry, like I misspoke. I am just irritated with how he is not able to identify talent when it's there, right there, and in time to take effect to change the season right there. And that is just what bothers me a lot about him. He's in the front office. If he was like GM, I think that's more of a fit for him. I think he did great for changing the culture here, but he needs to stop head coaching for real.
And at the very least, he just needs to stop running his mouth. I mean, Will, I don't know what to say because, like Ab said, like he's in there. You see it every day. And you're telling me you didn't see this, and more so, you're telling me that you didn't see that he was better than a guy you knew had limitations and a guy that you were scared to even put out there. Come on now. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's just a terrible statement. It's another terrible statement. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I've forgotten what we talked about that he said. But it was along the lines of like just making headlines when you don't need to be making headlines. And there's nothing really to talk about right now besides the 53-man rosters and Jonathan Taylor wanting out of Indy. And now he goes and inserts himself and says some stupid things. And I think it's just Ron just doesn't seem to really have grasped how to speak with the media and how to say what you need to say, but not too much. And like, you know, I could have answered this question a whole lot better. I could have said, you know, yeah, Sam did not get a lot of reps with the ones last year to really show us what we could do. You know, we saw him he was accurate in practice. He had a deep ball, but, you know, and he worked on his footwork, and that was the whole thing that they were concerned about. But he could have just said, you know, we really didn't give him much runs with the ones at practice to really see how he could operate the offense. And so he impressed us that day. You could have just said something like that. And it's a whole lot different than sitting there going, wow, we had this guy the whole time. Why didn't we play him more? It's like now, like to Ab's point, it's like now you have to question, do you know the talent in your building, if that's the case? And then the other thing about it that kind of just like confused me about this is Sam Howell showed potential in that game. But let's also not forget that we had a pick 6 on defense and a fumble recovery. So it's not like our offense just dominated the game. He showed potential to say, hey, this guy has earned the opportunity to compete next year. And that's about as far as he got last year. So Ron's comments just seem to kind of just go off the rails a little bit there.
Yeah, to me, it's just if Nathan was here, he'd be like,
really? Yeah.
I mean, genuinely, you know what it almost seems like? It almost seems like one of those things where a reporter comes in and Ron just thinks, oh, we're off the record, right? We're off the record, and just speaks freely. Yeah. And it just speaks out of his mouth, and then you're like, and then he's surprised. Like the comment he made last year about, oh, we're in the playoffs. Like that's not something that you say over on the mic that's being recorded. Like Ab, to your point, man. Like I love him. I want to be, shout out to our guy Anton. I want to be more support. I want to jump on this guy, rah. But at the same time, you're like Will said, you're creating more issues than we need.
To me, I kind of wish he had more accountability for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never really gave him a chance. Or, like, I was committed to Carson Wentz. So I didn't even look his way. Like, if it was something like that, then he could be like, okay, Ron, we see what you're talking about. That's understandable, like, and everything like that. But he just kind of seems like he's like,
ain't all with it. Nathan said also doesn't help when they asked him at the presser about being eliminated for playoffs. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. It's odd. It's odd to see this. And, you know, going forward, I guess my big issue with this whole thing is it wasn't this whole mystery. They gave out a report last year on what was going on. They said Sam wasn't ready. So that to me kind of makes it seem like, well, now you just don't know what you're saying right now. Like somebody just take the mic out, take the mic. You know, when we used to say back in the day, like, you know, you lost talking privileges. Like you're muted right now. Just stop. You know what I mean? Between this and then I think you were talking earlier, Will, about the comments with towards Eric Bieniemy and about all that. Why?
Yes.
Things look good. There's a new energy. It's a new day. Why? All this extra stuff. So
yeah. But I'm hoping, just to your point where I already forgot what was he talking about before, that's what's going to happen here. The season's going to start in a week. We're going to forget about this. It is a little bit of a blip right here, but, you know, I mean, I think ultimately it will, you know, go away. And I don't know, maybe there's some gamesmanship Ron's trying to do out here. Maybe he's trying to take the heat off something. I don't understand it. I can't explain it, but I don't know. Maybe there's a method to what he's saying. I hope there is.
I can't call it. I'll tell you that right now. I can't call it. But look, at the end of the day, we know why we're here. We brought our guy on because for the third year in a row, ladies and gentlemen, the day has come. The cut downs have come, and it is time to reveal, where is it? That 53-man mile. The 53-man, the cuts have been made. We have some rumors here and there. Will, I'm going to come to you first. Your overall reaction. We've been talking about this for a couple of days. What are your thoughts on the 53?
Well, I can't say that there was anything out there that I saw and was like, oh, no, well, we lost this guy or you know, this guy's no longer the team, or just really, really surprised. You know, whereas in years past, there's been some guys that get cut at the end and you get real disappointed. And honestly, this time maybe I'm just indifferent on these players where it's like, you know, whoever we keep, whether it's a fourth tight end or another offensive lineman, I wasn't too concerned. I also don't know some of the 9th or 10th offensive linemen on this team right now. I hate to say it. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. So there's a little bit of that going on.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, man?
The only thing I was really like concerned about, not even really concerned, it was just that the quarterback play this preseason, and I was really just like blown away by Jake Fromm. And I understand like we only need two. Absolutely. But it was really hard to differentiate from Burnett.
Brissett.
Yeah, thank you. And I understand Brissett was like against like probably the two like higher level, but Fromm was playing his ass, and it was really good. Like honestly, like I checked downs. Like honestly, he didn't waste any opportunities while he was out there, and I was very impressed. Very. And so, like, I understand we only need two quarterbacks. And I would say carry three, but that was my main one right there. And actually another one. The kick returner. He messed up his chance to make the team. This last game. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like he dropped like 3 balls, like that like he was going to make the team. He was going to be the kick returner, and he just let it go.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because to that point, that shows the difference that like a week makes. You know, Will and I were sitting here a week ago talking about Kaz Allen's a lock, man. He's got it. Man, Mitchell Tinsley and Dax Milne, you know, they're trying to play to see if they can maybe knock his spot out. And that game totally changes. Mitchell Tinsley has a game where he has a touchdown, almost a second one. You know, Dax, we know he's, you know, a surefire, you know, we know what he can do. You know what I mean? As opposed to Kaz, where we know what he can't do. And that surprised me. But another spot that surprised me was the tight end. And last week I channeled my inner Ab, because I had issues with Logan Thomas, man. I was like, yo, Logan, the injury, I know from last year, you know, it's, you know, we're trying to get it back, but he hasn't been on the field. So I was like, look, do we need to go Ryan Kerrigan in this situation and just get ahead of it? See what we can get from it? But I also thought we couldn't keep Curtis Hodges, because I didn't see anything from him.
Right.
But they ended up keeping 4. So that surprised me, but at the same time, I get it, because if these injury issues persist, then we're going to need to have, I'd feel more comfortable having 3 guys there, you know, with Bates and with Turner being so much younger.
That was the one. It made me worried. What is Logan's status if you're going to keep Curtis Hodges? Because he looked terrible out there in preseason games. And from everything that I've heard, he wasn't looking good at training camp either. Whereas like Mitchell Tinsley was showing out in camp and in games, that he was a consistent name playing well. And like, I don't know. I mean, they said today on their press, Martin or Ron said something about, you know, it's hard to replace a guy or get a guy like Curtis's athleticism and size. And so you don't want to let that guy out of your building. You got to be able to catch the ball, okay? First and foremost, you want to play tight end. You got to be able to catch. If you're going to be receiving tight end, you got to be able to catch it. He had some troubles catching it.
To that point, is this, and Ab, come to you, is this like a Samus Reyes situation where we want to keep trying to keep a guy in-house just so somebody else doesn't have him?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't want us to get him. Like, like that's all it is just keep away.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's exactly what that is. So look, I'm looking on this list of some of the people. Obviously, Kaz Allen. Will, you were talking about Mason Brooks, Alex Arma. Ab, you talked about Jake Fromm, who I completely agree, Ab. I look, I don't say he would be able to go in over Brissett or over Sam Howell at this point, but he's earned his spot. And that maybe that's along with the energy of the team and everybody, from the best player to the guy that maybe is lower on the depth chart that is still playing their butts off. But I mean, he's definitely earned himself a spot, you know, at the very least on the practice squad or something like that. But is there anybody that surprised you guys? Like anybody that you're like, really? Like Tyler Larson, even though we're probably going to bring him back potentially.
That was the one that surprised me. Mostly just because how many times have we had to play 3 centers in a season?
Mm-hmm.
And he's been our second best, and he's come in and actually kept the offense going. So, and then he always gets hurt too. And I know he's been recovering from that, but it's like, here's a veteran. I actually was watching, and somebody I know that's a writer for Pittsburgh, he tweeted that out and said, we need a strong backup center, and Washington just cut one. Now, and this is no disrespect to Jeff. I don't think Pittsburgh's watching his Twitter feed to go after that guy, but it's like we exposed him, just like to like what Ab's point of with Curtis Hodges is he going to get through waivers? And chances are they may already have an agreement with him. It's like, we're going to bring you back, that type of stuff. So yeah, he may, but I was just a little bit surprised that we decided to cut him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Sean, where you going?
No, I was going to segue to you. So go ahead.
I actually am not surprised because who is it? Ricky
Stromberg.
Yeah.
Roger, we drafted him. We weren't early too. So we he was gonna make the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we already have our starting center with Nick Leeds, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I wasn't surprised Larson wasn't gonna make it. Rare do you keep 3 centers.
Very rare. Very rare. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. But to that point, Ab, and I'm coming back to you, we put, Braden Daniels on IR? But there was some questions even about him making it, because he had been struggling. I know there's that injury. Well, what are your thoughts about that? Because we all agreed that if you get drafted within the first 4 rounds, you're most likely not going to get cut. But Daniels has been struggling.
4 or 5 rounds, and I agree with that. But we also know Ron does these you got a hangnail, so
you're out.
he knows how to play that game, and I don't put that past him on anything. So it just gives him another year under the radar, and he's not available to anybody else. So it's perfect for us.
Oh, yeah.
See, I love that move because he was really struggling, and the problem was, like you said, Sean, he's a 4th round pick. Are you willing to cut bait already and say we admit a mistake was made? And unfortunately, he got hurt. I don't know, with his shoulder. I don't know how long. The hangnail story is exactly what I was going to say what Joe Gibbs does. Joe Gibbs would be like, oh, you have to have ingrown toenail surgery tomorrow? Injured reserve. See you next year. And because he stashed players onto his roster for years to come. He was always looking like 2 years ahead. And that's what this is. They did this with Curtis Hodges last year. He got hurt at the end of the season. And there's our tight end decisions. Curtis is on injured reserve. So I love this move because it really was. It's like, this guy doesn't deserve a roster spot based on how he's played out here, but we also don't want to give up on a raw talent either. So the fact that he happened to get injured in that last preseason game, it's like, oh, nice. They found an injury.
Right. So hey, and it's crazy. Let's stick with the line and let's go to the D line. We had in our mocks at we had kind of had 10, and we were kind of trying to see who was it. Andrew Jones they're going to keep, KJ Hardy they're going to keep one of those. That's where this whole 4th to 5th round pick or who's going to get cut or anything, and they ended up keeping 11. They kept both of those guys, but your guy Benny Pete, he was cut among a couple other guys. What are your thoughts about keeping 11 D linemen?
It's rare. Kind of like, Ab was saying, you don't keep 3 centers, so you really don't keep 11 defensive linemen. But a couple things that they're thinking in the future here. I believe that we have 4, if not 5 defensive linemen up for free agency at the end of the year. You've got Chase and Montez. You got their 2 backups, 2 Hill and James Smith-Williams, and F.A. Obata signed a 1-year contract. So the fact that you were willing to keep these 2 guys, your 5th round pick, KJ Henry, your 7th round pick, Andre Jones. It's sort of like, well, this is also, we're trying to build you up for next year. to have a spot on our team or a bigger role in our team next year. So I really like that they went ahead and kept 11 defensive linemen because they're thinking this year, next year. And it also means that we didn't keep an extra linebacker that we probably didn't need either. They went with only 4 linebackers. And so I like that a lot. It's like, all right, let's go with this. It's the way you guys run your defense. Don't add more bodies you don't need then.
Oh yeah. Hey, what you think, Ab?
No, you talking linebackers. You're like, we didn't keep an extra one, but everybody's like working at like half level. So like it's so hard for me to be like an extra linebacker because to me, I think we need to focus on this position. It's the position we sleep on every year. Or ever since Ron's been here. And that's just, I'm baffled by that. How are you a linebacker in your career?
Yeah.
You don't know how to pick a linebacker for your team.
Yeah. With a linebacker, that was your defensive coordinator was a linebacker in his career. Both of y'all don't know. Come on now.
They've completely devalued it.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what, honestly, what it looks like with them not getting everybody else? It looks like they keep trying to go back to that, what is it, that 2020 draft when they got, or 2020 or 2021, when they got Jamin Davis, and they continue to try to push that this was the right pick. This was the right pick, even though we continue to see he's struggling. Things are just not working out. They're not giving us any other options. Like, they're not putting anybody else out there. And to your point, absolutely, Ab, they have totally devalued this position, and it's surprising. It's surprising.
How about Isaiah Simmons getting traded to the Giants for a bag of chips?
Right. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been perfect in this defense.
He's the type of player that they want.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes you wonder, did they even attempt to look at him, or is it like you say, Ab? Is it like you say, where they're like, "Oh, we know we're the smartest people in the world"? You know what I mean? That's what it seems like.
They think they're the smartest people out there. It's like they make bonehead things and be like, "Yeah, it's gonna pan out." Nah, not really. Nah,
man. It's gonna be interesting. Hey, look, so we got the secondary. We know what some of the moves that were made there. Rashad Wild Goose was cut. Castro Fields was cut. Nick Whiteside. Jason Whitaker was cut. He had a pretty solid game against Cincy, in the last game. What are y'all thoughts, man? Because I get it, but
I don't care. I don't care when a guy who makes plays in the third or fourth quarter of the third preseason game.
Give him a chance, all right?
I don't mean to be harsh. I don't.
Cutthroat, man.
That's what I'm telling you guys. I was looking at these, and this year wasn't the year that we cut the Sidney Cobbs, and then he got snatched up, and everyone freaked out because I looked at these names and I'm like, all right, well, you're replaceable. I hate to be so callous about it, but that's just how I feel.
It is.
I'm sorry. I like this play, man. The dude was all over the place, man. That's what you want. You know what I'm saying? You want someone all over the place that's just flying, and and I think that's what's absent in our defense. It's just someone all over the place.
Yeah. He was hungry. He played like his job is on the line. I think you should reward something like that because that's what you want. But then again, at the end of the day, we also don't know if they're cutting this guy just to potentially bring him back, bring him on the practice squad, keep him in-house, keep him around. So we'll see. Lastly, the safeties. We kept 5 safeties: Cam Curl, Jeremy Reeves, Derek Forrest, Quan Martin, and Percy Butler. Any surprise there? I think we only had 4 personally, but you got any surprise, Ab?
I'm sorry. Give me a second. I'm trying to look at it real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought we kept 6. Oh,
Do we keep another?
well, the last one I saw was we kept Kendall Smith or something. But okay, that seems only 5. Nah, no surprise.
Yeah, I think we had put Quan up as a corner when we were doing our mock last week, which is why we did have 4. Well, you know, and so you said it really well, Sean. You just said, you know, who knows what they do with the roster here or guys making the practice squad. And I got 2 thoughts, which is why I say I don't care about the cuts. Is I think some guys played themselves onto the practice squad, and that's not nothing. I want to make that to be a point. Like this guy Chase Whitaker, who I couldn't tell you what number he was.
32.
32. There you go.
He was balling out. Go watch the game, Will.
and I heard another safety, Nick Whiteside, is something that they really liked out there. Jake Fromm out there. You know, Kaz Allen didn't make the team, but Mason Brooks made the practice squad to be a part of this team for the future or to get their shot. And Martin Mayhew said this is the first 53. It's, you know, there's going to be some moves. I mean, I think you're going to see, it wouldn't be surprising if Logan Thomas is good to go for next week. Curtis Hodges may have an ingrown toenail that he's out, and then he goes on injured reserve for 4 weeks, you know, and they get to bring back an Alex Arma or Tyler Larson, or, you know, so some of these guys are going to get themselves a chance to stay in the mix, and earning the practice squad, I think it's not nothing. Obviously it's not the same as making the original 53, but it's not nothing.
Agree.
Oh yeah. And look, it kind of goes back to this that we talked about last week. Nathan said, I'm not going to lie, it had to be stressful for the coaches to do one whole cut, but I'm not mad at it. Yeah. I mean, this is from 93 to 53, or what is it?
Yeah,
90 to 53.
A lot of players.
So, I mean, that's just mass cuts. It's crazy, but like we said, this isn't the end. We'll see what happens if they can get on the team maybe a little bit later down the line. But the thing about this is we know who got cut from our team, but the kind of cool thing is that all around the league, this same thing is happening. So, Ab, you sent us the list of all around the NFL, some of the teams that have cut their players and whatnot. Should we be looking elsewhere? Should we? We talked about linebackers. I know Darian Beavers is one of the guys that we've looked at in the past that's around now. He's been cut. James Robinson, he was with the Giants. He formerly with the Jaguars a couple years ago. He was cut. You know, I mean, we're solid at running back. But what are your thoughts? Where should we look? Should we go elsewhere? Will Ab?
Will you go real quick? My daughter's right here.
Yeah, I can take this. Yeah, so there are a couple players that caught my eye. There are a couple positions that caught my eye. I think I heard something at the end of this afternoon that was really interesting. And it's a little bit of it's twofold. It's do you want to sign somebody else's players and bring them onto your squad? Or do you want to sign guys to your practice squad that you've already just spent 30 days with learning your system? And is that a better use of your time versus bringing in someone who now has to learn a whole new scheme here? So it'll be kind of interesting. But the other thing I thought of is I can list some names of folks I would think would be an upgrade over either who we have on the roster or who we have on the practice squad. But you got to also look at this from a player's perspective of like, do they want to come here and be our fourth tackle? Or be our fourth tight end, or our fourth or fifth linebacker, like you guys said. I mean, there's 3 linebackers that I had an interest in. We all love Jabril Cox coming out of Michigan State that Dallas picked up. We all like Darian Beavers that the Giants picked up. Now he got hurt, and then Sean, you and I got so furious when Brandon Smith got picked by the Panthers in the 4th round, and we picked Percy Butler. But are they going to want to come to Washington when we devalue the linebackers? You know, so I want to take that standpoint too of like, yeah, I can name here's a couple guys that would make our roster better, but they may look at that or their agent saying like, you're not going to see the field. Just go back to the team you were with, you know. Yeah. So I'll go from there. There's a couple other names I got, but I want to give you all a chance too.
And that's a great point. That's a great point because, and Adam, come back to you. Nathan says right here, Jalen Smith. We all know the talent. We know how good he is. But to Will's point, do they want to come to Washington? If they spent X amount of time maybe in Dallas or maybe in New York or maybe elsewhere learning that culture, do they want to come here and try to learn on the fly before game one?
So I kind of disagree with you, Will, right here. Because to me, if you get cut from a team, like you're trying to just jump into the next thing smoking. You're trying to get that paycheck. Like you're trying to get in there, whether you fit or not. And because like to me, if the way I'm thinking, that's what you're looking for. It's to just jump into something and then hopefully play, because essentially that would be your contract year. And so you're trying to play. So you can't do that from the couch.
No.
So like literally you're trying to jump on a something. And nobody's going, like, Washington's going to pick you up because they think you're going to fit. As far as linebacker, like I do agree with you there. It's very devalued here, and honestly, it's so hard to be like, I'm a linebacker. I'm gonna jump up to this team, and you guys want to put me in. Like I'm splitting my time with like 5 other guys, and that's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard to sit there and want to do that. So I'm kind of split, but it's very me. I really just want one of these other linebackers to come on our team. I really do. Like screw everything else. I just want one of them to come. We've been Nathan. We've been talking about Jalen Smith for like 3 years since he got released from Dallas. So I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah. Like Ron has had his chance to pick him up, and it's not going to happen here.
Yeah. And one of the things we say every year is that, we kind of have a kind of vision of how things are going to go. And then we come to days like this and we're like, well, guess we had no clue what was going on because they are going somewhere completely different. So even to your point of us thinking like, oh, this linebacker, this guy, they're probably not even looking at linebacker. You know what I mean? And so, Will, I'll come back to you. You said you had a couple other names. I mean, I think more so we got to think what position. Now, linebacker obviously is a glaring hole. Potentially, secondary maybe. We don't need wide receiver. O-line. What are your thoughts, Will?
I do have a wide receiver, and it was like one of the more shocking cuts of the day. The Bengals cut a guy. I didn't know this guy, so I got educated today by the name of Trent Taylor, and he was a kick returner for the 49ers, and he had like 5 or 6 kick returns or punt returns for more than 20 yards. So so we're talking about our wide receiver 6 and 7, and we got Dax Milne and Mitchell Tinsley, and Milne's supposed to be out there, catching punts, and he made it because he's a pretty decent route runner and he's sure-handed at punt returns. He's not flashy, but he doesn't really drop the ball. But here's someone who can do it. Here's someone who's done it. So I almost wondered, like, would we be a destination where like, oh, I can play receiver, I can also kick return, that he may be someone that's worth going after for the chance to be that position for us. There were other 2 tight ends that I thought about. One, Cincinnati cut. His name is Devin Asiasi. He was originally drafted by the Patriots. Apparently, we were very high on him in that draft. The Patriots, I think they picked him in the 2nd round, kind of surprised people how early they got him. But Ron and company liked him in the draft. So that, we'll see if he's available, if they go after him. The other one is another tight end. He's not flashy, doesn't impress me. But if Logan's going to miss some time, this guy is a veteran who I'd certainly like out there more than Curtis Hodges. And his name is Nick Vannett. He was cut by the Texans. He's played in Seattle. He's played in Houston. He's bounced around a little bit. He's nothing spectacular, but he can block. He can catch a little bit. He can play the position as a professional, probably a little bit better than Curtis Hodges. So I'd be curious just to kind of see in the next couple of days. I'm really kind of watching what's going on in that tight end room and what we're doing, what the status is of Logan and if he can go or not, and if we need to go get someone just in case.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, man? Do you have anybody else that you've taken a look at? Mute.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Vikings released N'Keal Harry, former first-round pick from the Patriots.
From Arizona State, yeah.
Dude's huge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how big Tinsley is. He's like 6 feet, maybe. But we need a big wide receiver. Like me, like why not fire out for him?
It's a big body. Something we don't have.
Yeah. We definitely don't need it because one of the things that we had talked about potentially was, are we going to have to pull a Cole Turner and make him kind of a wide receiver because of his size or something like that? But with Logan not, being kind of questionable, that's not going to be feasible. We're not going to be able to do that. We need to just go get. I've seen a bunch of guys. I think Miami cut Tyler Croft. Some guys that could come in, but again, you still got to learn your system. They still got to, how do they like in this area? Any other names that have gotten you guys' attention? No, just kind of looking through and scrolling through here. But I think, honestly, the point that was made earlier about, you've been in-house with this team. It's different. This is where I think it's different from the cuts every week as opposed to the one main cut. If you get cut that first week by chance, you're not in this one organization for 30 days all this time. Because the thing is, when you are in that organization, now you're starting to learn that culture as if you're on the team. Your expectation is to make the team. So I need to learn everything in Washington. Now all of a sudden I got to deprogram and then go somewhere else. Some of the vets could probably do that a little easier than the rookies, because the rookies is like, well, shoot, I just learned this playbook. Now I got to go this way and learn this one. So it's going to be interesting. And again, we don't know if these guys if these coaches are trying, that they're saying, oh, we're just cutting to make this as a 53 just to get through this day, to then go to the next day and bring back some of the guys that we cut.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be quite it.
So what do you guys think of Trent Scott, offensive line?
It's funny you said that because I talked about him last week as one of my extra guys, but other than that, I didn't know much more about him. He was one of the very last guys. He was the guy that I left off, but he was like if I had 10, it was 11. And my 10th was Braden Daniels. So in that case, I kind of understand, but I can't tell you any of his attributes. I can't tell you, how good he is or not. I just can tell you he's a body that was needed.
Right. Yeah, I didn't say this name earlier because I had to go look up Trent Scott, being fully transparent, because I saw one of our old linemen, Jaron Christian, got cut by the Dolphins. And I thought, all right, well, this guy wasn't very good, but I mean, he's played in the league. And if we need a fourth tackle, a second backup, because Lucas is the swing guy. I was like, well, maybe he could be something. So I actually looked up Trent Scott and didn't realize that he's played in the league like 4 or 6 years already. He's played in many games before, including with Pittsburgh last year. So I was like, all right, well, this guy has more experience than I realized. So then I'm like, all right, I mean, I guess he'll work as a fourth tackle. He doesn't wow me or nothing, but I was like, all right, well, I guess he's kind of what you would want to have in a backup player.
backup. Yeah.
It makes sense.
That's, I mean,
I knew nothing about him though this offseason. I thought he was a rookie. That's how
nothing.
I just really didn't take a deep dive into all those backups.
No.
To me, I was like I would think he would be the last one on the offensive line. Like, just like you were saying, Sean, like he was the last guy put on there. Yeah. I actually would have cut him myself. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to, how do I say? Try to find someone better than him. Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
So look, let's go ahead and move on because we talked about the cuts and going around the league. Now let's come back to our house and see. We talked about the guys that were cut. But some of these guys we've said, we think they deserve that opportunity to at least make the practice squad. Guys, Will, you can start. Go ahead and give me some of your names that we feel like are going to probably be cut back, or maybe that we would want to be brought back.
Yeah, I want to bring back the guy we were all disappointed didn't make the 53, and that's Kaz Allen. Mm-hmm. We all want to see something a little bit more electric with our return game. Punt return, and particularly, kickoffs are kind of getting phased out of the league, especially with this new fair catch rule. And catching the ball seems to be the most important part of that situation there, which is his problem. But also, I think he's a great candidate for a practice squad because he was learning how to be a wide receiver for the first time. He played some hybrid role or running back, with UCLA. He was learning to field punts for the first time, at the professional level. So that was a lot being thrown at him. So I certainly hope he clears waivers and can be a part of our team, because I would love to see later on down the line he be given a chance if he's shown that he's got a little bit more sure hands with those punts to get a shot, because any little bit extra yards we get back can always help.
Yeah, and I feel for him because, like you were saying, Ab, that game against Cincinnati was rough for him. If there was ever a game where you're just like, dude, you had that spot locked up, and you totally lost it right there. Yeah, I definitely.
Yo, I don't know if you saw it, like every single time he fumbled the ball or dropped the ball, the wide receiver coach was right there. Like crazy.
Yeah, that's rough. But to your point, Will, since we have tried to keep certain guys, Curtis Hodges, Samus Reyes, we do owe it to a guy, like Casimir Allen that has such potential. We need to, let's give him that shot. Let's put him on the practice squad and see. Ab, what are some of your names that maybe we might have cut, that your thoughts that you might want to keep on the practice squad or bring back?
I'm sorry, were you talking to me, Sean?
Yeah. What are some of the names? Like you're talking about Jake Fromm, some of those guys.
So Fromm is my main one. This team needs like at least about 5 quarterbacks in the reserve. So Fromm, he ran the offense well. Like honestly, I'm actually confident in him. Like if we ever have to go to number 3, like he would do okay. Jared Patterson, he just never, he just never compares to me. He needs, I know he's going to be on our practice squad, but we just need to give this man a chance.
Mm-hmm.
That dude runs. He doing his thing. And Mason Brooks. I don't know if y'all hear about this man.
This guy was talking about him. Yep.
Oh, Mason Brooks was legit. Honestly, I can see him in our future. Who is it? Andrew Norwell. He was undrafted free agent. That's Mason Brooks right there, man.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep it up.
I'm really curious to find out what happens with Jonathan Williams, because I've heard conflicting reports. Somebody said they put him on IR, and if you put him on IR before the 53, they're gone for the year. But then someone else said he's not hurt long and will be back. So I don't understand. So I don't know if they actually cut him, but didn't put him on IR. And I've heard 2 different things, so I haven't gotten the clarity on it. But I'm curious because I would like him back on our practice squad because I just think he runs violent. So I would hope he's back.
I saw him on the IR, Will, from what I remember. So, I didn't know that rule, though, that you just mentioned, though.
Yeah, it's not – you have to make the 53. You have to get into the season, and then you can be on that 4-week or 8-week injured reserve. But if you start before the 53 is announced, you're gone for the year. Like Braden Daniels, gone for the year. So that's why I wasn't sure, because I saw the same thing you did where they said they put him on injured reserve. I'm like, well, then he's done. But then they're like, but he can come back. And so, or his injury isn't serious. So I don't know what actually happened. And I mean, we saw it. I don't know if y'all saw it with the Eagles. The Broncos cut their tight end, Albert O. I can't pronounce his last name. And then all of a sudden, shortly after 4 o'clock, whoop, traded to Philly. So I don't know if there's some deals, or if the, whatever information got out wasn't completely accurate, or the Eagles found out he was getting cut and they went, let's make a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you cut him, then he would have never made it to the Eagles at 31. Like the Eagles knew that, so they had to put in that trade.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But to your point, Ab, I'm sorry. I too have a big heart for Mr. Jared Patterson, man. I love this guy, man. I think we have to keep him. And one of the things that I always thought, we keep auditioning all these different guys for return, man. This man was electric in college, man. Let them kick the ball to him and give him the wall. Let him run behind that thing. And his height, they can't see him under there. I mean, we see what Deuce is doing in Dallas. I don't think he did any kick return in Buffalo. Okay. But I mean, just in a way to keep him on the team somehow. Because I like you, I want him there. But B-Rob's our guy. Antonio's got his spot. Chris Rodriguez made his name for himself, so I'm good with those three. And then at 4, I mean, maybe him personally, and I know I'm alone in this, but Derek Gore, I would like to keep him. And the reason being, we are still in this transition with EB in his new offense. So I want to keep guys that know this offense. So just in case something happens where a back gets hurt and we need somebody to come in and not have to think about what's going on, I would lean towards maybe a Derek Gore with that. There's nothing else that I like, about him, but we got Pringle. We got some of these guys from this Kansas City experience. So that's my reasoning towards that. Now, if he's the last one he's left off, I wouldn't care, but that's my 2 cents added to this conversation.
Well, I think they've expanded practice squads. It used to be like you get 9 guys, you get 10 guys, and so you'd always want to have one quarterback, 1 or 2 wide receivers, some O-line, some running back, all this stuff. Now it's like 15, 16 guys, so you can have someone on the practice squad that is like, you're never getting called up to the team, but we want you learning our scheme. And that, like you said, Sean, that could be Derek Gore. Like, you're here to help. You're here to run scout team to let our defense know where the guys are supposed to do, and you're the culture builder, but you're not actually playing.
We heard Washington Football Weekly, one of the hosts, Sean Spencer, vouched for you. So that's it. You're not playing or anything, but he said your name, so you're good. You Yo, you guys got anybody else you think on the practice squad?
Nope.
No, I can't see it.
Well, what about Benny? Benny?
Well, of course. I think he's coming back. I think he's a lock. So yeah. I definitely want. Is he Samoan? Got to have a Samoan on the roster.
I mean,
Whitaker and
Whitaker, yeah.
Of course,
Oh yeah. Yeah, these guys balled out, man. They were hungry, man, and it showed on the field. And look, we'll always say the disclaimer: you play against 2s and 3s, yada yada yada. But when you excel, whenever you play, that will give you a reason to get to at least an opportunity at the next level. If the next level is practice squad, fine. Right. But look, let's go into it. Let's sit here and talk about it. Let's give it our expectations. We got you on here, man. Last year, we all had some pretty nice expectations. We didn't factor in the quarterback. We all were optimistic about it. I'll say it myself. But what are we thinking this year, man? New year, new owner, new offensive coordinator. A little more urgency. What you think, Ab?
We're going from last to first, guys.
Let's go. Let's go.
Last to first.
Let's go.
To me, Eagles aren't doing it again. Like honestly, there hasn't been a consecutive winner in 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen right now. It's not going to change right now. So I think we're going to go last and first. In fact, I'm fitting a bet of $50 that we win the division.
Woo!
I'm about to put it on. I'm about to bet on MGM.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yes. I'm with that. I'm with that. Anything in particular? Any accolades for the guys? Like what is Chase doing? Is he balling out this year?
Oh my gosh, man. This is the craziest thing right here. So we can't keep them both, right?
Yeah.
We can't keep them both. And it's just going to be insane. So to me, I think Chase. I want to see Chase get double digits, bro. Like I really want to see that.
Yep.
And if he can do double digits, or hell, even 8, and Sweat is good for 8 at least.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if they could do that, dude, we're going to be so crazy. I do need to see more turnovers. Like,
yes,
there's no point in us being the defenses in the league if we have turnovers. Yep. So, like, we were in the top 5 defense in yardage, but if we can't get turnovers, then it doesn't matter. That does not matter. So I do want to see more turnovers, more forced fumbles, interceptions, especially pick sixes. I need to see some pick sixes. Mm-hmm. So I like that needs to change. But we need to see more stunts too, blitzing, and just let Chase and Sweat rush the quarterback. Stop having them drop back. Like, stop doing that extra shit. Like, just let them rush the freaking quarterback.
Yep.
You know, like,
do what they're good at.
And like, honestly, people always look at our team well, he only had like 8 sacks, so he's not that good. No, you don't realize that they have them dropping back all the damn time too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they ask too much from the defensive ends. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, I said a lot, but
no, you good. That's what we want. Hey, I'm with that, man. I'm with that. All last year we said, hey, we're bend but don't break. At the beginning of the year, we bent 90 degrees, and towards the end of the year, it was a little more rigid, you know. But like you said, like top 5 defense is nice, but I don't want it to be top 5 where all of a sudden those first 2 drives, like the first drive against the Browns in the first preseason game when we had all of our starters in, didn't look like they were fearing us in that game. They ran all the way down the field on us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it was one call that one run where he got into the end zone and they didn't challenge it. Then all of a sudden things change. We stop and we get the 4th down, the goal line stand. Then all of a sudden, all the defense is pumped up. We need to start early. Stop with all these slow starts, which is Ron Rivera's. That's his thing. Let's wait till week 4, 5, and 6 to finally wake up. We need to start early, start often. I too think we're going to go to the playoffs. I think we're going to be second in the division. I think there is a potential team that's going to do a little bit better than us, but choke as they are accustomed to doing.
Really?
Did he just see Dallas?
I'm telling y'all, man. I'm telling y'all. Wow. I just got a feeling, man. When they got due, I just got a feeling. I hate to say it. I didn't say we're going to lose to them. I just said I feel like I just got a feeling. That's as far as I'm going to go. As far as I'm going. But what I'm going to say, though, is I think the offense is going to be electric this year. I think we are going to – I think it's going to look like the second half of the Detroit Lions game, where even Carson was throwing to Samuel, throwing McLaurin all over the field. I think Sam Howell is going to have a pretty legit year. You know, over 2,500 yards. But I think the biggest thing for Sam is he'll have about 500 yards on the ground. I think his legs and his ability to extend the play are going to do things for us that we didn't necessarily have last year. You know, he's poised, he's ready to go. And I think they're going to run the ball a lot with the run with our running backs and get the ball to our backs and stuff like that, where they're not putting all the pressure on him. Or I'm hoping this is what they're going to do. You know, and that defense. But to your point, Ab, all that stuff is good and well, but all that stuff will lead us to an 8-9 team unless we have the turnovers. We need to create opportunities for our offense, short fields, pick sixes. Our defense needs to be scoring points. Exactly. We need, we've been the top 5 in defense the last couple years, or at least top 10 towards by the end of the year. We need to have that all throughout the year. We need to be feared. I am sick and tired of doing a daggone fantasy draft, and I'm like, pick Washington defense. Oh, I'm not going to pick them. They're garbage. Let's look at the end of the year how they're actually doing. I want us to be respected, and I think this is the year we get our respect, man. We're doing it, baby. Double-digit wins. Let's go.
Double-digit. That's what's up.
Let's get it. Well, what you think, man?
There's not a whole lot more that I can add to what you guys have already said. And I'm looking at my list of things to talk about, and you checked about every single one of them off. You did miss one, and it's just a player that I'll get to. But I'm with you guys. We're going to be led on by our defense. We're going to be led by our defensive line the way we have been. The difference in this year versus years past is what we've said. This is a contract year for Chase and Montez. Yep. So they got to put up some numbers to get paid. And so there's going to be some extra motivation there to make sure that they get some of theirs as well. So I think hopefully that works as a team and not just individually like it did in 2021. It's a contract year for Cam Curl, and he can show his value. They like to put him in the box as a linebacker, and so this will be curious to see, can he make more plays? When he got hurt last year, the defense took a dip, and that's his greatest bargaining chip right now, is if he's able to show what he does, the versatility he's got. So when you've got 3 of your top 5, 6 players on defense in their contract year needing to prove themselves, I think that's good. It's concerning from a roster construction standpoint, but from to this year's season production, that's a good thing. Oh, yeah. I'm really excited to see Manny Forbes in this defense. To just like you guys talked about, we need more turnovers, and I think that's why they went out and got him, was because they said this is the one corner in the draft that specializes in making plays and getting turnovers, not just being a shutdown corner, but getting his hands on the ball. So I'm excited to see what he can do, especially with our pass rush, forcing throws a little early. On offense, you guys know how much I was defending Scott Turner, but I'm excited to see Bieniemy in there on taking over this offense. I'm excited to see him change the offense. Last year, part of it was probably our personnel at whoever was behind center, but we ran a very heavy ball control offense of take as much time off the clock as we could, limit the amount of possessions. And I think EB is going to do something different this year. I think we're going to run at a faster tempo. He's already shown that in the preseason. I think we're going to run some more plays, and I think he's going to get our guys involved in the passing game a little bit more, to the backs and to our receivers. And I think we're going to have a big year out of Jahan Dotson. I think he's going to really turn up into be a very well-known wide receiver too. And really take over some games the way he showed he could last year at times. I mean, he had more than 5 touchdown catches last year, so he had a good rookie season. I think he's going to elevate. And to what you guys have said, I don't think this is all on Sam Howell to prove that you're the next Peyton Manning to lead us. But if we can win 7 or 8 games with Taylor Heineke at quarterback, what's to say we can't win 9 to 10 games with Sam Howell and what his arm brings out there? So I'm very optimistic as well. I mean, I think we are going to contend for one of the playoff spots. I'm not going to say we're going to win the division either, but I think we're vying for that wild card spot easily.
Let's go.
I think he's more careful with the ball than Heineke, though. Like, honestly, I've seen he's so much more careful.
He doesn't throw wing and prayers out there.
No. Yeah, they don't teach you that stuff in North Carolina. They teach you how to actually quarterback an NFL team. Let's go. Let's go. You'll see that this weekend. Let's get it.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'd like to see that out there.
Let's go. Yeah, no, hey, we know how we're always at this same place. This is the best time of the year. We're so optimistic. Everything's in front of us. Yeah. We have all these fairy tales of great things and trophies being hoisted. But let's get to week 1.
Leading wide receiver. Who is it?
You know what I want to say. I want to say my guy.
Don't you do it?
But I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do it. I got to go with the guy you just said. I think Jahan. I mean, what did he have that first game last year? Didn't he have 2 touchdowns in that first game? He had like 4 touchdowns in the first like 3 weeks. You know what I mean? And then, hey, I don't know if you saw Ab. I was talking to Will about it, and I think it was the first preseason game. Logan Paulson interviewed him on the sideline. He said, "Well, what did you think on that route?" And he said, "Well, first off, I had a safety lined up on me, so I knew there ain't no safety in this league that can guard me. So I knew I was good." I was like, "Oh, let's go, Jahan! Tell him, yes." So, hey, I'm excited for that. But yeah, that's where I'm at, man. What you guys think?
I think because we don't know about Terry's toe, I don't think it's going to be serious, but we don't know that Jahan's going to get more opportunities. And yeah, I think it's going to be Jahan.
I concur. Like I was leaning on that. Like it's something like that dude's nice. Like he's like he flies.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? No care in the world. Like he's not hesitant.
Yep.
Like what was that? It was the Giants game where he did that.
B button circle. Yep.
Yep.
I'm like, what?
Yes.
Dude, I haven't seen that in a long time here.
Yeah.
So like I'm excited about Jahan Dotson.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, actually, to that point though, and then this will bring up something we talked about a couple years ago, not so much last year. We've heard Terry a lot. Obviously, him and EB have been real close, and obviously Jahan Diami's been kind of lighting it up. You know, Curtis Samuel's name has been curiously left out. You know, I think he was dealing with a little bit of an injury thing. Is there any concern? Is this an every other year thing, or?
You go, Ab.
I don't think so, man.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like, honestly, last year he got about 8 touches a game, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like
we needed that.
That's dumb, bro.
Yeah.
So I honestly, he's gonna eat this year too, and it's his contract year also. Oh well, so it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. I think it's it's gonna be one of those things where come week 1, we're gonna see them line up in formations. We haven't seen it all in preseason, and utilize guys that they just in preseason they weren't going to show anything. So yeah, I'm not worried about Curtis Samuel. I think he may be 3rd in targets, but that's by design.
Yeah,
and he's a pretty darn good person to have 3rd in targets too.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Absolutely. So, hey, you know what? Before we leave, since I don't know if we'll be back on next week or not.
Yeah, we'll see.
But we'll see. This might be one of the last ones before the first game. And Ab, while we have you on here, game 1 at home in front of the crowd. I want the crowd loud, roaring, everything, Magic, Josh Harris, all those guys there. Us against the Cardinals, who cut once Washington great Colt McCoy, and we know that Kyler's not in there, so Josh Dobbs is starting. I want to say what's going to happen, but I also want to say how much we're going to beat them by. But I'm not going to sit there and knock on wood because I'm not even going to sit there and do that. What do you think, Ab? What you think the score of that first game is going to be, man?
34-3.
Let's go! Let's go!
34-3, y'all. For real.
Crush them. Yo, what you think, Will?
Yeah, I mean, I got shades of Steve Spurrier's first game back, when the crowd went nuts and he hung 37 on Arizona. And I think it's going to be a blowout, and it better be a blowout. Yeah. This game can't be close. You want to talk about the ultimate deflator for that ownership group would be losing this game. They need to come out. Fans are excited, blow them off early, and win, and just make it a no doubter.
Mm-hmm. You got score?
No, I'll go 27-10.
Okay. I'll be in the middle. I'll say 31-10, but I'm going to say first play of the game, Sam Howell to Terry McLaurin, 75 yards, touchdown. Game. Oh, and then everybody's just like,
I don't think they're going to say that. I hate to tell you this.
They're going to say it. I'm going to put it on the Jumbotron. Tar Heels. That got it. Come on.
Can I add one more thing, guys?
Yes, yes.
I really, this is what I want to see in the difference of Scott Turner and EB. I need them to put their foot on the gas and don't stop until it's 3-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
I'm adamant about that. Like from Scott Turner's offense, it's just like we get a 2-second lead, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, let's just keep running the ball."
Yeah.
Wrong. No, we need to attack, and if they don't want us to score, then they need to stop us.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see. I need to see that difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Take the shots, man. Take the shots early and often, man. All right, people, ladies and gentlemen, we want to give a special thank you to our guy, the one and only Low Ab. Appreciate you, my guy.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you, man.
Really. Absolutely.
Thank you for dropping everything. We gave you a 2 hours notice.
I had to hurry up and feed my kids. I was like,
let's go. Yo, you still got the season tickets? Are you still going to the games?
Nah, man. After last season, I was like, after this, like, I need something different before I do it again.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, it's interesting atmosphere. I went to, like I said, those 2 preseason games, and they were pretty interesting. But hey, they're coming out. People they're rocking the place. It's pretty nice.
What's up, man? That's really
good to see. It's good to see. Hey, and for my guy over on this side, South Carolina's finest, man that I will be seeing this weekend for the North Carolina versus South Carolina game, Mr. Will Kramer. Will, appreciate you again, man.
Looking forward to it.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. And look, we have to leave you out the only way we know how. Left hand up, ladies and gentlemen.
Stand up, left